Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This video is the continuation of my previous lecture video on protein. In this video, I shall discuss about the structure of protein. We already know that proteins are the long chain polymer of amino acid. Many amino acid join by peptide bond to form a long chain polymer, linear long chain polymer. One may assume that protein exists as long chain polymer in our system, but practically protein doesn't exist as a linear long chain polymer, because we already explained that when amino acid joined by another amino acid by peptide bond, in that case the side chain of the amino acid didn't participate in the joining of the amino acid, and we know that every amino acid has different side chain and the nature of the side chain differ from each other. Due to different side chain in polypeptide chain, one side chain can interact with another side chain. The interacted amino acid come close to each other. That's why the protein chain, polypeptide chain cannot exist as linear chain in our system. It folded to a peculiar three-dimensional shape in our system. We'll discuss about the structure of protein under four classes, that is primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure and quaternary structure. Now I shall tell what is primary structure of protein. Actually, primary structure of protein tells us about the primary or basic information of that protein. It never tells us about the size and shape of the protein at which it exists in our system. What primary information it tells? It tells us about the total number of amino acids which are involved in this protein chain and the sequence of the amino acid from N terminal to C terminal. Here we can see a structure of a tetrapeptide. Let us consider this tetrapeptide as a long chain protein chain, that is a polypeptide, because due to limited space we cannot draw a long chain polypeptide. So if we consider this as a protein polypeptide chain, so what is its primary structure? Its primary structure is that this polypeptide chain consists of 4 amino acid, and the order or sequence of the amino acid from N terminal to C terminal is alanine, then leucine, then cysteine and methionine. Primary structures give this information only, nothing else. Now I shall tell about cysteine. Cysteine, one of the 20 amino acid which are involved in human protein formation. Cysteine has a special characteristics. If we see the structure of cysteine, we can see there is a sulfohydryl group in its side chain terminal. In the presence of an oxidizing agent in our system, two cysteine molecule, that is the side chain of the cysteine molecule, oxidize to form a disulfide bond. Disulfide bond is a strong covalent bond. And again, in the presence of a reducing agent, the disulfide can be broken and the cysteine molecule, that is the side chain of cysteine molecule, can be free like before. Now, if we see, this is we consider as a polypeptide chain, and we just take this terminal 2 amino acid as cysteine. So their side chain contain sulfohydryl group. In the presence of an oxidizing agent, these two sulfohydryl group oxidize to each other and form a disulfide bond. As we know that the disulfide bond is a strong covalent bond, in that case this amino acid and this amino acid will come to very close to each other. After that, the polypeptide chain shape will be like this. It can be linear like before. From this, we can also assume that a protein or polypeptide chain can never exist as a linear chain in our system. Here we can see the primary structure of insulin. We know that insulin is a protein, especially it known as a hormone, which can regulate the glucose level in our blood. From the figure we can get the primary information or primary structure of insulin. What information will we get from this figure? We can see from the figure that there are two polypeptide chain. One is composed of 30 amino acids and another is composed of 21 amino acid, and we can see the sequence of the amino acid from N terminal to C terminal. This information we also get from this figure. Together, these two polypeptide chain perform their biological function in our system. One can ask me that why this 21 amino acid containing chain acts as protein, because we know that when a polypeptide chain contains at least 30 amino acid and it can perform a biological function in our system, in that case we can say that polypeptide chain as protein. But we can see in both the polypeptide chain there is a cysteine molecule, there is a cysteine molecule. Both cysteine can form a strong disulfide bond. Here is a cysteine and here is a cysteine. These both can also form disulfide bond, and here is a cysteine and here is a cysteine. This cysteine can also form disulfide bond. So by disulfide bond, both the polypeptide chain held together and they perform their biological function together. That's why, being a 21 polypeptide chain, but it was connected to another 30 amino acid chain and they perform their biological function together. That's why we can say this as protein. Now about the secondary structure of protein. What does mean by secondary structure of protein, or what type of information we can get from secondary structure of protein? Actually, secondary structure of protein also doesn't tell us about the size and shape of the total polypeptide chain. Actually, secondary structure tell us about the shape or size of the certain portion of the polypeptide or protein chain, not the whole chain, certain portion, at which shape it exists as nature, that certain portion. Actually, certain portion of protein can exist in three forms: alpha helix, beta plated sheet and triple helix. We'll discuss about this in the next slides. What is alpha helix? Actually, if a certain portion of a polypeptide chain looks like spiral or spring or coil or helical shape, that portion is known as alpha helix. Why that portion becomes spiral, not straight, because that portions also consist of many amino acid, and every amino acid has side chain which did not participate in the polypeptide chain formation. But that portion contain that type of amino acid. Those amino acid side chain can form hydrogen bond with the next to or near to amino acid side chains. For example, this can form hydrogen bond this can form hydrogen bond with this can form hydrogen bond with this, or this can form hydrogen bond with this. Due to the formation of many hydrogen bond within this portion between the side chain of amino acid with next to or near to side chain of the another amino acid. That's why that portion cannot remain or exist as straight, because the interacted amino acid come close to each other, not exactly very close like disulfide bond, but they come close to each other. That's why many interaction in that portion, that is many hydrogen bond. That's why the overall effect of that portion becomes spiral, looks like this. We can see from the figure in the right side that, for example, that violet ribbon is the polypeptide chain. For example, that portion's amino acid side chain form hydrogen bond with this portion amino acid side chain. This portion amino acid form hydrogen bond with this portion amino acid side chain. This amino acid form hydrogen bond with this amino acid. This amino acid form hydrogen bond, that is their side chain form hydrogen bond with this. This amino acid side chain form hydrogen bond with the side chain of this amino acid. This one with this, and this one with this. Due to formation of many hydrogen bond between the side chain of the amino acid next to or near to amino acid side chain, that's why that portion cannot remain or exist as a long chain. Due to this interaction, many interaction, that interacted portion holds one portion another portion close to each other. That's why that portion shape become spiral or helical shape. This portion is known as alpha helix, and we can see in polypeptide chain certain segments exist as alpha helix, that is spiral shape. Now about beta plated sheet. Which portion of a polypeptide chain is known as beta plated sheet? If a protein or polypeptide chain, a certain segment held next segment side to by side like this, in that case that portion is known as beta plated sheet, because many segments held side to by side together, collectively they looks like a sheet. See here, that's why that portion is known as beta plated sheet. Why this portion connect another portion of that chain side by side? Of course, maybe there are some interaction with this portion to this portion and this portion to this portion. Otherwise, they will not exist side by side. They will be straight. Of course, there are some interaction between this portion to this portion. For example, if we consider this is a polypeptide chain, this is a polypeptide chain, this is a long chain. So we can see from the figure that this portion held this portion side by side, and this portion also held this portion side by side. Why or how they held together side by side? We can see the amino acid here and the amino acid present in this portion. The side chain of these two amino acids form hydrogen bond, and by hydrogen bond they held this portion side by side to this portion. This amino acid form hydrogen bond with the side chain of this amino acid. Similarly, if we consider this amino acid side chain form hydrogen bond with the side chain of this amino acid. So due to some hydrogen bond formation, one portion of the amino acid held another portion of the same polypeptide chain side by side, and this portion held this portion of this polypeptide chain side by side. So due to the presence of this many portions side by side, collectively this portion looks like a sheet. So that's why if that shape is present in a polypeptide chain in our system, only that portion is known as beta plated sheet. Now about the triple helix. What do you mean by triple helix? For example, if a polypeptide chain has 3 alpha helix portion, and if these 3 alpha helix portion woven together, in that case that 3 alpha helix portion collectively known as triple helix, like this figure. That is, when 3 alpha helix woven together, that portion is known as triple helix. We know the reason for the formation of alpha helix, but why this individual 3 alpha helix woven together like this? Of course, there may be interaction between the inter alpha helix. Actually, that happens when an alpha helix form. I never told you that portions all amino acid involved in the formation of hydrogen bond. I said many hydrogen bond formation occurs in this portion. For example, this portion have some amino acid which did not participate for the hydrogen bond formation for alpha helix. So for example, this is one helix, this is another helix, this is another helix. The one of the side chain of this helix can form bond with the another helix amino acid side chain which is free. Similarly, this one of this helix side chain can form hydrogen bond or disulfide bond with the side chain of this helix. Like this can form hydrogen bond or disulfide bond with the side chain of this helix. So due to this interhelix interaction, either hydrogen bond or disulfide bond, 3 alpha helix woven together like this or like this. These 3 alpha helix when woven together, this portion is known as triple helix. Some portion of protein chain exists as triple helix. In common sense, we can say when one person can defend only one person, but if 3 person is collectively can defend many person. In another way, the strength of a single alpha helix is less than the strength of a triple helix. It's common because in triple helix 3 portion of the polypeptide chain held together strongly. That's why its strength is higher than an individual alpha helix portion. Usually in our body, that protein triple helix forming proteins are involved. Those portion had to withstand strength or pressure in our body, like skin, blood vessel, connective tissue. For example, blood vessel. Inside the blood vessel, blood flow with a very high pressure. If the vessel is not strong. In that case, when blood flow inside the vessel, it will rupture. Usually that type of portion usually made by triple helix type protein: skin, blood vessel, tendon, connective tissue, cartilage. After analysis of many triple helix portion, researcher found that portion consisting amino acids are maximum glycine, proline, alanine, and smaller amount of hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine. Actually, these three amino acids are percentage is very high, but some smaller amount of hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine. So we already know about proline among the 20 amino acid, but we did not hear about hydroxyproline before. In common sense, we can say what is the difference between proline and hydroxyproline. I think all of you will answer me that there is an extra hydroxyl group in hydroxyproline. Actually, when proline is hydroxylated, in that case it converts to hydroxyproline. That is when the side chain of proline is hydroxylated. In that case, proline becomes hydroxyproline. Similarly, lysine when hydroxylated, in that case it converts to hydroxylysine. So what's the benefit of that hydroxyl group? Okay, let us consider this as a polypeptide chain. For example, this portion is proline, this is its side chain, this portion is lysine, this is its side chain. So after hydroxylation, the side chain, there is a hydroxyl group will be incorporated in the terminal of the side chain like this. At that condition, we will say this as hydroxylysine, or this one is hydroxyproline. Now, if hydroxyproline or hydroxylysine, in other words, if hydroxyl group is present in a alpha helix in certain amino acid, in that case when it reacts with another portion of alpha helix, so that also contain many hydroxyl group in the terminal of the side chain. So all of you agree that there will be a big possibility for the formation of hydrogen bond like this. Hydroxyl group here is also a hydroxyl group. In that case, they can form hydrogen bond. In other way, I can say as many as hydroxyl group is introduced at the side chain of the terminal position, there is a possibility to formation of hydrogen bond. So actually, in triple helix, interhelix, if we consider the interhelix, we already known that researcher identified that in these three alpha helix, some proline and lysine are converted to hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine, that is number of hydroxyl group increases. As the number of hydroxyl group increases, there is a possibility of formation of hydrogen bond, that is there is a possibility of interaction between the inter alpha helix. For example, if we see the figure of this triple helix, this portion held very strongly, and if you see this portion held not very strongly. For example, for a strong portion of a triple helix, there are 100 interaction present between interhelix, and among the 100 interaction, for example 20 interaction are for hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine. that is for the hydroxyl group. If the proline and lysines are not hydroxylated for some reason, in that case this 20 interaction will not occur. So in that case the total interaction between the 3 alpha helix will be 80. That means here this portion for 100 interaction and this portion for example for 80 interaction. In that case they will not held together strongly like before. For any reason, if proline and lysines not hydroxylated, in that case triple helix will not be strong like before. It will loosely held together. This triple helix elasticity will be decreased. Okay, actually for the hydroxylation of proline and lysine, that is introduction of hydroxyl group in their side chain terminal, certain enzymes are responsible. Due to the presence of this enzyme, they catalyze the hydroxylation reaction. In system, normally they exist as inactive form. From inactive form, they become active in the presence of vitamin C. So they become active. After activation, they can hydroxylate proline and lysine. If they can hydroxylate, in that case the number of hydroxyl group will increase and there is a big possibility formation of more hydrogen bond, that is the interaction between the triple helix will be increased. If the enzyme doesn't become active, in that case it will not hydroxylate and in that case triple helix will be loosely held together. So we can see there is a role of vitamin C in our system in protein structure formation. What is its role? Because we know vitamin C activate those enzymes which can hydroxylate proline and lysine. If a person suffer for long time vitamin C deficiency, in that case that enzyme will not be activated which can hydroxylate proline and lysine. In that case hydroxyl group will not be introduced and the number of interaction between the triple helix will be decreased and its elasticity will be reduced than before. For example, we can see here a figure, a nice figure of a girl face. We indicate a scratch mark on skin because we know that in the skin the protein which are present in skin they exist as triple helix form. So if we suffer from vitamin C for deficiency for long time, in that case it will affect the triple helix. Elasticity will be reduced. It will affect our skin, not only skin, other portion also. That skin actually we know that the skin's protein is exist as triple helix. So skin will be not glow like before. Its elasticity will be reduced. There will be some wrinkle and its glowness will be reduced. So we have to take vitamin C regularly because vitamin C affect the protein structure, particularly the triple helix. That's all for today. I shall discuss about the remaining portion of protein structure in my next lecture video. If you like my lecture video, then don't forget to click the like button. You can also share this video to your friends and can also put your comments. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Your subscription will encourage me to make more lecture video for you all. Thank you.